the way.
Welcome, everyone. Pommy Kickback Football Show. Normal time, Sunday, 8 o'clock. Always need a co-host, right? And I've gone big. I've gone, Pom's side is 0-3. I need lifting out of it. So if you are a YouTube fan, you will probably think Mr. Beast, KSI. But in Australia, we don't need them melts. We've got our own. That is Caden McDonald, the godfather of AFL YouTube. Caden, welcome across.
Pommy, thanks for having me, mate. I wish I could bring a bit of positivity. I wish my side was up and about, but unfortunately we're in a similar boat, 0-3, and a lot of work to do.
To be honest, you might be the perfect guest because I do quite a lot of collabs, and as we lose more, I'm getting sick of seeing the guy across from me happy. So it is quite nice. I've got someone the same miserable as me.
Yeah, it's a slow start to the season, but I'm hoping eventually we'll fire up and we'll get there. I'm bullish on the Blues a little bit. It's still that blind faith of, I think they're too good to be where they are. And it's almost a little bit of that with the Ds as well. So I'm hoping at some point it can click and we can go on a Brisbane Lions or Hawthorn Footy Club style run throughout the year. But yeah, it's a shocking start and it's a little bit concerning. We're a week away from probably clicking the panic button, which isn't very fun at all.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Carlton fans have got Collingwood, which we don't like playing Collingwood and losing to them when we're flying high. It's it's really ground zero next week for the Blues.
Yeah, that's going to be a cracker. Oh, do you think it's weird that that's on a Thursday night?
Yeah. I'm not a big fan. I don't know what chat and you were like. I like Thursday night day one, and if there's like a bank holiday, I think it makes sense. But
yeah,
after it makes no sense to me.
Especially in Melbourne, like whenever there's a Thursday night game and it's at the Adelaide Oval, it's absolutely packed. But we saw last week Essendon and Port Adelaide, and even like throughout the season, whenever there's Thursday night games in Melbourne, it just doesn't have the same pull as a Friday night, which is a very traditional time slot for the Victorian audience. I still think if you played Carlton and Collingwood on a Tuesday morning, it would get 85,000. So I don't think it's going to affect it that much. And it is super tasty from a television rights point of view to have that on the primetime Thursday night, because I think Thursday night footy is starting to become a really attractive time slot for the broadcasters. So to put two big supporter-based sides with a lot to play for is exciting. But I feel like it's a bit of a shame it's not on a Saturday or a Friday, or I even like when the Pies and the Blues go at it on a day game, like a Sunday 3:20. That's always got like a finals feel to it.
It is one of them cheat codes if you were the AFL, isn't it? That, like you say, you could literally play that any day, any time. And I remember we played them on a Sunday, I think it was 2019. And it was actually quite like a real big atmosphere for like a mid-afternoon game.
I reckon it was the last game of the season a couple of years ago when you guys just fell short, should have made finals. And I reckon that was Sunday 3:20 as well. And that was an elimination final. That felt like an elimination final. So, yeah, you could play it anywhere. It's going to be a massive contest. The Pies have been pretty inconsistent. It seems like they've got it together a little bit at the moment. And I'm just waiting for the Blues for it to click. Like, I don't know if that's a bit too surface level analysis, and maybe that doesn't really make sense, but it feels like it's not quite, it's a bit disjointed. It's not quite fluid at the moment for the Blues. And I just think, I don't know, maybe some personnel to come back as well. But if it clicks, you could beat anyone in the comp, I feel.
I think that's why it hurts. And like, I think you're in the same boat as well. You know you can beat anyone. Like, you've got your trophy. It's not even dusty yet, isn't it? So it is really annoying when you know your team. Like, no offense to Richmond, but there is no way in hell Carlton should lose that game. And it does sting you. Like the North game, there's no way you should lose that North game. And it hurts, doesn't it? Like, it really does hurt when you know you should win that game.
Yeah, I think to be honest, like the North one stung less than the Giants one. The Giants one was frustrating because such a respected opposition, and it felt like we did everything but take home the 4 points. And just knowing how valuable 4 points are in this competition, because the competition is easy, I walked away from the Giants game, and a lot of D supporters did as well, going, geez, next week against North is a bit of a banana peel style game. It's one where it looks like you should bank it, but at Marvel, and they've matured as a side, and they've got stars in and amongst the midfield, and they've got some top end talent at either end as well. It's not the walk in the park that it was 18 months ago. So I walked away from the North game very early. It was halfway through the last, and I'd seen enough after they kicked 4 straight to start the last quarter. But I walked away from that game going, fair enough, we got comprehensively whacked. But walking away from the Giants game against such good opposition, it felt like we left one out on the park there, which was annoying.
Well, we get to talk about all these teams. We've got everyone's favourite segment. So we'll introduce Caden to this. As we go over the week, chat, and Caden, we're only allowed to move the teams. This is the first ranking of its time where it's a rolling ranking. So we can only judge them week by week as we talk about them. So we'll start with the easy fixture. So obviously Essendon and Port are the teams we're looking at here. Essendon I was live for this game, potentially the ugliest game, but the most captivating game I've ever watched. But this was really two teams struggling to not win this game, and the Essendon did. Like, what were your thoughts on this? Because they're two teams as well, out the Essendon and Port, that probably are a lot better than results show.
Yeah, it's been weird how the last couple of weeks Essendon have sort of conceded that they're not in it to win it, and they're sort of going through a rebuild. But Joey Montagna always speaks consistently that their age demographic's pretty good. Like they started this sort of rebuild when Andy McGrath came into the club. So that's 10 years ago. And then ever since, it feels like they've had waves of top-end talent come through. So it's sort of confusing that they're going to rebuild again when they've had a lot of top-end talent come through. I'm a little bit confused by that sentiment. But at Marvel, they perform really well. And the power, I'm like, their best is very good, but they're really inconsistent at the moment. It feels like every second week people jump off Ken. So I wasn't surprised by the result because the Power lost a couple of players going into it. But the Bombers, I'm not sure where I'd put them at the moment.
Well, you know what? I'll give Bombers this, and it comes a lot from a Carlton fan because obviously I hate Essendon, but I was impressed by their fight. I think they've got a little bit of a backbone there. They took that game. They stole that game, I thought, and it's a character building one. But I look at Port, and I think outside of South Australia, I think they're like Gold Coast last year. I think at SA they're a problem, but I think if they've got to travel anywhere, I just don't think they've got it.
Yeah. Nah, I'm with you. And I like the depth and the experience that they added, but losing Lukosius and I think Marshall's still out, so it's Georgiades just trying to do a lot down in that forward line. It probably stretched them a little bit too tall, a little bit too thin going into that Thursday night clash.
Well, you know what? I think I can see a lot of North fans are in here, so I'm going to suggest this. I am going to move Port below St Kilda, and I'll rise Essendon at this stage to 15th.
I like that. Yeah.
And obviously we've got all the other teams to come. So, chat, I agree with this. Does anyone else think that the Ken Hinckley, Josh Carr thing, that's going to become more of a confusing thing as it goes on?
Yeah, so we went through it with the D's. We had Goody and Simon Goodwin, and the sort of lens that came out of it was that I think I said Goody and Simon Goodwin, Roosie and Simon Goodwin. Roosie essentially just protected Goody for his first year of coaching. Like essentially, Simon Goodwin took over the list and was the driver in the driver's seat. And Ruzi just like sort of cushioned some of the media speculation and pressure. And I really love that. I think that's such a great thing for an up and coming coach. So I don't know how much Josh Carr is, coaching this season, but I think it's great that Ken's there and should be there to see it out, because I think it can only be a positive for an up and coming coach like Josh Carr.
I agree. I think it gives him protection. I just feel like everyone sacks Ken, don't they? Like,
Yeah.
I've ever since I've been here, Ken Hinckley feels like one loss away from being sacked. It just feels now really bizarre because he's kind of put himself right in that spotlight, saying he's leaving in September.
Yeah. Yeah. I know. And they're like, everyone's pointing to the confusion and that's a reason for their form and whatnot. Yeah, I like it. I think it's good for Josh Carr. It might be a little bit confusing for Port fans, but I think overall it just gives him a season to learn the caper before he gets properly into it next year.
Yeah, I mean, he's good with the attention. I agree with Scott. I think Ken Hinckley, he pretends it affects him, but I think secretly he enjoys it quite a bit.
Yeah, yeah. No, he's good. He's good for that, Kenny. I wonder what he'll do afterwards, because I think it sounds like he might still work at the club afterwards or whatnot, but he is a proper coach's coach. And not to bring it back to the D's every time, I'll do it quite a bit, but there's speculation about Goodwin as well. And there's a lot of great coaches out there at the moment, like John Longmire and Adam Simpson and Nathan Buckley still floating around, and then Ken Hinckley at the end of this year. So there are going to be coaches available if teams want to pull that trigger and make that leap at the end of the year, which will be really exciting for the whole footy world.
Always have a feeling that Ken might be the Tasmanian guy.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. That's a great call.
Do you know what I mean? Like a year out next year, just takes a break, and then he's the main man at a new club, new pressures. You can see it, can't you? Bit of charisma, isn't it? A bit of charisma.
Yeah, I can see it for sure. And it feels like I don't know why I get this feeling, because I feel like he was working at the Gold Coast and then he was almost pulled up to the Gold Coast at one stage. So it feels like the AFL like his coaching style for their expansion sides as well. I don't know if that's an actual link or whether I've made that up in my head, but yeah. So Tasmania, they're going to need someone who's done it all essentially. Like, he's taken Port to a lot of prelims, so he would be a great acquisition for that Tassie Devil side.
He'd get them strong. And we've just talked about sacking coaches. At the moment, it is a race between my team and Caden's team, probably, of who is going to be in that firing line from the media first. Carlton going down to another team and another coach that is often in the firing line, Luke Beveridge. 8-point win for the Doggies. This one, I think, in my opinion as a Carlton fan, stung more than the other three. Out of the other two, this one stung because I felt like this is a team that we should beat. The Richmond, I'll forgive them. First game, jitters.
Yeah.
This one hurts.
And just in control for a long time. I think I saw the percentage of time in front or whatever, and it was something like maybe it was 85 minutes or something. Carlton were in front of that footy game. So, yeah, just big moments towards the end of games. It's like they're learning how to – it's like the opposite of Collingwood the last couple of years. When it gets tight and it gets close and the time's running out, Collingwood just know how to either get in front or save a lead. And it feels like there's a couple of teams at the moment. I'd say Freo's one and the Blues are definitely one where it gets towards the end of the game and just those moments and those fundamentals, they lose it a little bit. And yeah, it is frustrating because they had control for a large part of that game, and you just got to bank those 4 points.
I'd love to do a Collingwood and win these tight games. Like, honestly, it feels like Carlton have got to really knock a team out in the second, third quarter and hope they turn into Essendon and Port in the fourth quarter if they're good. I mean, credit to dogs, though. Doggies, they really impress me at the minute. No Bontempelli, no Trelaw. They're finding ways. The way they've got Matt Kennedy playing a pseudo Bont role, which is like replacing a Ferrari with a Range Rover. It's mental. It just shows you good coaching.
Yeah.
They are a team that are really scaring me when they get them players back because they genuinely look like a top four side, don't they, the Doggies?
Yeah, they do. And they've had sustained success for a long time. Like, I know they haven't saluted since 2016, but they've sort of been like Port Adelaide. Like, Port Adelaide have sneakily been in the 8 most years over the last 8 to 10 years, and the Bulldogs have done it as well. And it feels like David King has mentioned this before, but he says when Luke Beveridge gets his back against the wall and loses some personnel, that's when his coaching goes to another level. So, I think he's coaching out of his weight class at the moment, and they're playing out of their weight class. And it's a credit to them because, I wouldn't have expected Joel Frazier to be playing the way he's playing. Riley Sanders is playing well. Even like battlers like a Jimmy Harms is stepping up. And then you see O'Donnell floating across and Sam Darcy contributing. So just players all across the board just shows how good their depth is. So, they're in a good place at the moment. And when they get those players back, they potentially could go to another level.
Oh, I know we've mentioned Kennedy. You just mentioned Harms as well. Like, Harms looks rejuvenated as well, doesn't he? Like, I don't think I've seen him run that much. Like, he looked a real menace. Like, Beveridge seems to get 5 out of 10 footballers to play at a 7 out of 10 weekly.
Yeah, and that's impressive. Like, there's not a lot of organizations that can do that. And yeah, James Harms, he's a experienced footballer. Like, he's ready to go. He's ready to step in and take on bigger roles. I think he's been wanting to take on bigger roles. Like, he's always been a sort of team player for the D's, team player for the Dogs, pinch hit whenever he's needed. But when he is needed, like, he's good to go. I reckon he's played almost 200 odd games, and he's pretty experienced now. So it's a good person to have as your 5th or 6th mid, when called upon.
Well, I mean, and they've got Sam Darcy. You know what? I know Matt Lang's in chat, so he's going to love this because I made a rule: we can never drop Geelong below 4th. But I've got to put the Dogs at 6th. I've got to rise them. They were Sam Darcy as well. He scares me of what he could be.
Yeah, there's no defender that has the attributes that he has. So he's going to be a hard man to cancel out for a lot of seasons. I don't even know where you would start. And he's going to get stronger. So it is terrifying for a lot of defenses.
It's a rare occasion, that game, where I think you'd give Wheater in his opposite and Darcy 9 out of 10. Like, it was one of them games that you can't really have a winner, but both of them were arguably up there with the best players on the ground.
Yeah, I'm with you. And that happened a couple of seasons ago. I think Charlie and Darcy Moore had a really good contest where Darcy Moore took a lot of intercepts and played his role, but Charlie kicked a cheeky 3 or 4. And it was one of those games where they sort of shook hands and left, and you were like, man, they were both as influential and they both got off the chain. And it sort of felt like that again this week. Wiedering's probably the best fullback in the comp, but to see some of the stuff that Sam Darcy was still able to do, it just shows, he's got all the ingredients to be whatever he wants in a couple of years' time.
Mate, I mean, he's 210 centimetres and the guy moves like a midfielder. Filth. It's disgusting.
Yeah, it's scary.
It's disgusting. You know what? I hate to do it. I'm going to have to move Carlton down. 0 and 3. Are we as bad as Port? You know what? I'm going to leave us above Port because we haven't lost by nearly 100.
Yeah, I like it.
I think we've got to be cruel to be kind. Then we come on to your team. Gold Coast. They say Gold Coast don't travel out of the Suns. They were frighteningly good at the G. Dimmer has turned the Suns into baby Richmond, hasn't he?
Yeah, and he was always going to, like, once he got up there and they had some teething issues in his first season, and um, he got him humming during certain parts of last season, but couldn't sustain it for a long enough time. Told him they need to grow the F up during parts of last season. And it just feels like he's gone to work on whether it's that mentality or just the immaturity, where they're battle hardened, like across the park. And I was at the G on Saturday and I was looking across the park and there would be this, like, I don't know, unassuming halfbacker. And I'm like, oh, he was a top 10 draft pick. And then there'd be this small role playing half forward. And I was like, oh, well, he was a top 10 draft pick. And then there's their midfield. And I go, well, they're all top 3 draft picks. And then they've got sort of no name key forwards taking clunks. And I'm like, well, he's an academy top, so across the board, in terms of the depth of a lineup like that starting 23, it is just so stacked. Like, it's terrifyingly stacked. And then they've just added some mature ages from Werribee, and I don't know. It's getting scary because now they're doing it with a good system. So I don't know. I think Gold Coast are real. Like, I think, a lot of people are questioning whether Adelaide and the Suns, what they're doing now, will stack up. And I know that, potentially they've only played, 16th and 18th on the power rankings here. So they haven't played top opposition, but I feel like it's going to stack up against anyone.
It looks dangerous, doesn't it? We talked about it last week that I think Gold Coast, just as a list, is probably the most underrated, like, pound for pound, player for player on there. Like, everyone always says they're going to make the 8 because of Dimmer, but I think you nailed it there. When you actually look at their list, it's got everything you want, hasn't it? As a football side, there isn't really a glaring hole.
Yeah, well, I just, when I was seeing, like, Jake Rogers do stuff and Bailey Humphries do stuff, and like Mac Andrews so intimidating, and there's Yulin types, and I was just looking around going, man, they are just stacked. And then you forget about, like, a Touk Miller who binned 3 and was unbelievable, and pretty much every position, Ben King, like, they are just top end talent, and they're starting to go to another level now that their academy's up and going. Like, they don't rely on the draft as much anymore. They probably don't even need draft picks. They can just bring in 3 academy kids every season. Like, they are, it is just all set up for them, which is awesome for the competition, because hopefully that spillover of talent will mean other teams get other players as a byproduct. So it's great for footy. Like, the better top end talent from all across the country, the better it is for AFL. But they are stacked with it at the moment. And it's clicked already. I can't wait to see them do it against good opposition. I feel like up at their home ground, they'll be able to beat anyone up there this year, I reckon. It's just how many they get on the road, and they've started 2-0 on the road, so they're off to a flyer.
Mate, they are a dangerous side. The lads from the Hoop Crew, I know they've been on them, but your boys, gotta say, we were huge fans of him on this channel in the draft. Harvey Langford, the main man, the guy who never is 18. He's definitely 27 and has got a dodgy ID. He looks every part ready for AFL football, doesn't he?
Yeah. Cal Toomey's nicknamed him the Baby Bont, which you'll take. He moves so well. He stands next to Jacob Van Rooyen, who I think is 193. And he's like half a hairline smaller than him. He's 191, not 192. He's a big bodied mid. So I assumed we were getting like a crash and pack Cripper style, but his player comparisons were more Hayden Young and Jack Crisp. So he's this tall frame that can play a little bit of outside, and it's got that like line breaking ability. He's just classy. He's just a class act. And I was really frustrated that he played sub in the first game against the Giants. I was a little bit confused when he got omitted to play VFL last week, because I don't mind that we get 15 to 20 games of VFL footy into our first round draft picks. We've been doing it for a couple of seasons now, and it's it's now a part of our brand that we develop players properly. Like Jacob Van Rooyen was unsighted in the ones, even though he's knocking down the door in the VFL just for his own protection and for his own development. But I was confused with the Harvey Langford decision because he looked ready-made. But it worked. Like he went back and got 24 and a goal in the VFL and had pretty much identical stats in the AFL this week. So a pretty bleak day at the MCG. Like just structurally, the cohesion, the game plan, the confidence, the stars are not performing. The young players are like we're just all out of whack in every facet. So it was a pretty bleak day at the MCG, but Harvey Langford was a little positive and hopefully a little glimpse into the talent that's coming through at the D's.
There's a lot of Carlton about Demons like that. Again, the tail wag, Clayton Oliver. Great to see him. Like he looks like he's enjoying his footy again, and he had a terrible year last year, like off field with the media and the speculation. And Petrarca, like everyone was saying, this guy's not going to come back. He looks like he's come back. It feels though like your stars shine. Just feels like there's something missing, isn't it? It feels like there's just an ingredient missing.
Yeah, well, yesterday wasn't. We haven't been able to show this new game plan. Like Goody in the preseason said, we're going after this new game plan. It's going to take a little bit of time. Now, we tried to do it 12 months ago, and then we got flogged by West Coast and then Fremantle within 2 or 3 weeks, and we abandoned it. We abandoned the new style because it leaves us exposed the other way because we aren't quite set up for it. Like we're not quite executing the way that the footy club wants. So we went back to contest and defense in the back half of last year, and we had so many results that resembled 2023. Like we won the contested footy, we won the inside 50s, and we lost by a goal. And that happened a lot in 2023. It happened famously in the final series against the Pies and then your mob, Pommy. So we don't want to play like that anymore. It feels like the contest and defense footy has been found out and exposed. And the counter punch to that was Collingwood sort of embraced the imperfections going through the middle. And then the new evolution of that is the hock ball style. So contest and defense doesn't win your footy games much anymore. You can't bash a team and get over the line. So we got to adapt, and we've drafted differently. So Windsor, McVee, Langford, Lindsay, they're all classy players. They're not contested pools. But we just got to execute it now. And it feels like at times when we should go by hands, Jack Viney will click the eject button and throw it on the boot. And that's not what we're trying to do. It feels like when we want to kick short and do a bit of kick mark, a Petrarca will bomb it in long, but that's not what we want to do. And then on the weekend, just the fundamentals, missed handballs, missed marks. So I'm gutted that we haven't even seen what it's capable of. And I feel like we're not far away from hopefully getting a couple of personnel back. Windsor, McVee, Cos will be back this week, I think. Maybe not McVee. But we're getting a couple back that'll add to this new game plan because they're all skillful players. But if it doesn't click soon, it's going to be a long season. We've seen in recent years, like the Lions started 0-3, the Hawks started 0-5. I don't think we're anywhere near those sides, and we're not going to make much of an impact in season 2025. I don't believe, but I don't think we're a 10-goal gap between us and the Roos. So I'm hoping we can just put it together and start getting competitive again, because if we don't, it's going to be a long season.
Felt like you were describing Carlton, Caden. Us and you are the last two teams.
Carlton the contest and defense footy.
Yeah, Johnny.
It's dead. It feels like it's dead.
With the relics of the past. And you know, it's funny when you said your trade draft strategy, it's something I've said in my videos about Carlton. We've drafted these outside runners. We've drafted these modern day players, but we're not embracing it. We're playing them like the old school.
Yeah.
And it's a shame. It's a shame because I wish Vossi would say what Goodwin said and said, we're embracing it and we'll copy it on the chin, but this is the new us.
Yeah, you mentioned that off air that Goodwin's presser, like he came out and said, because last year, I think like we we potentially have delayed our development by 12 months by abandoning it this time last year. We threw out this new game plan. We went back to contest and defense. Yeah, we were competitive up at the Gabba against the Lions. Alex Neil-Bullen scored a try across the boundary line, gave away a deliberate free kick, and Hugh McCluggage pots it. We probably should have won that. We were really competitive against the top 4 Giants at the G in front of 16,000. We were really competitive against a top 4 Port at the G against a 16,000 in front of a 16,000 crowd. So we were competitive against top 4 sides without track. Clary was injured, Gorn was in and out, May was in and out, Lever was in and out. We had all these young kids, Kynan Brown and the likes running around. So there's enough optimism in me to think that we could turn it around this year, but we are at the point where we were this time last year where we abandoned it. And I don't think we're going to. So we're either going to have a massive car crash, be 0-8, lose every game by 10 goals and be in licorice all sorts, which is concerning, or it starts to become muscle memory. The cohesion clicks, the personnel clicks, the stars who are so talented find a little bit of form and we can turn it around. I don't think it's impossible to turn it around. I just know that we are at a juncture as a footy club, which is concerning because people are saying sack the coach and rebuild. I think rebuild's a bit crazy. Like, Track's 29. Like, that's not ancient. Like, Dangerfield's played till 35. So 6 more years of Track, there's a lot more juice to squeeze out of that. Whether he stays or goes, though, that's another conversation.
We do love the Track. This is a good question from First Time Feature. This could be a real war of attrition, couldn't it, if we got this game going?
I don't know why I'm so positive about the Blues. I think you've got way more depth than us across the board. We're super young in a lot of areas. Like in 5 or 6 positions on the ground, we have people who are either 20 years old or have played less than 20 games, and that's not great for your depth. But I'm excited by those positions and those players. But a Disco Turner, a Blake Howes, Jack Henderson, an Aiden Johnson, there's heaps. Harvey Langford, Xavier Lindsay. You even go to that next rung who've played 60 games, like a Bowie. Like we're just inexperienced in a lot of areas. So I think if Carlton and the D's played tomorrow, I think we'd lose pretty comprehensively, to be honest.
I mean, if it was only 2 quarters, I'd put my mortgage on Carlton.
Well, that would save me watching what North did to me in the last quarter. If it was only 2 quarters, so get the misery over early.
To be fair, Carlton always match up well with you, even when we're rubbish.
Yeah. Yep.
You know what I mean? We got a big Slobber fan channel as well. He's a regular in here. So Caden meets Slobber. Not many people are Slobber fan channels. You know what? I'm gonna move Gold Coast. Ooh. You know what? Even though they've beaten.
Wow.
I'm going to move them 6th. I think you stick for now on form.
Oh, I appreciate that.
I can't put you below Richmond because all due respect to Richmond, I think we know where Richmond are. And I think we know that. But it's hard to raise someone when you lose. But I do think Melbourne will be fine. They've got that team. And the team I hate talking about, St Kilda, my wife's team, massive character building win against Richmond. They looked like they were in trouble in that first half. Then they played football, absolutely dominated. This could be huge for St Kilda. But Richmond, they checked out at half time. Poor Richmond.
Yeah, I think, man, when you pull out a win against the Cats on your home turf and then get Richmond the next week, it's just it sets your season up like that. That win against the Cats sets your season up when you've got a fixture like that. So they made the most of it and they did what they had to against a side that's going to be uncompetitive in a lot of games. What did you think about the Mansell suspension? Because it's almost a little bit humorous. Like the injuries and whatnot aren't clearly, but there's almost this irony that Sam Lawler got dangerously pushed into a pack and the person who did the pushing didn't get any weeks. And then they changed the rule, and the first person to get in trouble for it is a Richmond player. You must feel like, as a Richmond supporter, you'd be frustrated because you campaigned so hard for some justice, and the AFL went, "Oh, we'll listen to you and we'll make some changes," and then you cop it on the other end with Mansell getting 3 weeks, which is so severe.
It's poetic irony, I think it's called. You know what I mean? Like it is fascinating. I agree. I didn't think it was 3 weeks though. Like I
3
thought
weeks is
it was.
harsh.
Yeah, I mean, the AFL's inconsistent with suspensions though, isn't it? Because like things I would deem that could kill a player get a week, don't they? And
Yeah.
then like things that are innocuous seem to be a 5-week suspension.
Yeah. Yeah. And they're coming down hard on like tackles because it could cause concussion. But then there's like jumper punt. Yeah. So you are right. They are inconsistent. I did think out of all of the shoving into the pack incidents that we've seen so far, this one was probably the worst because he shoved someone going backwards into just a freight train. Like you don't know you do know what's coming. It's a key forward and it's a key defender leading up at the footy. So some of the other ones haven't been like that. They've been running with the play and they just sort of push them into the contest, which is still pretty dodgy. And that's when Mitch Owens got hurt and hurt his shoulder. Like we've seen those ones before, but to push someone back with the flight blindly is pretty dangerous.
Yeah, it's reckless and stupid, but like I say, I mean, I think that's 1-2 weeks max. Like 3 weeks,
Yeah.
like for me, when I'm looking at a 3-week suspension, because what was Noah Bolter's for assault? Wasn't that 4 weeks?
Was it? Yeah, must have been.
Yeah, which then if you think, is that as bad in the context of everything, even though it's off field, it makes no sense. But the AFL doesn't make any sense, does it?
Yeah, no, you're right.
This game's tough. I mean, is it Richmond or poor St Kilda? You know what? I'll put
St Kilda
St
can go
Kilda.
above the Bruise.
Yeah, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
We'll put them there. St Kilda
Nice.
there. And Richmond, I'm going to stick because they did beat Carlton.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Dogs and Eagles at the minute are getting peppered at home.
They're lucky. They're lucky it's not a bigger margin.
Yes.
They're pretty lucky to be that close at the moment.
So we'll do that. But then we come on to what was probably my favourite game of the round. Blustery wind. I've never seen wind like it. You've got James Sicily 1 minute hitting a top and it just reaching D50. Then he switches ends and he does a little chip kick and it goes 75 metres. This was a crazy game, but Hawthorn looking dangerous here.
Yeah, they look real. It's just crazy because across the park, they've still got names that aren't like massive within the AFL community. That they've got like players just buying into the system. Like I would say the D, going back to the Melbourne Footy Club, but it's a personal anecdote, but I would say that the D's best starting 22 would almost, well, I'm going to go with it, would look better than the Hawks starting 22. But it's crazy when you get everyone buying into a system, how different two footy clubs can look. And the Hawks are just all in. Everyone knows what they're doing. They've got recycled role players. Like a Carl Amon wasn't the most amazing player of all time. They've got like young talent starting to blossom, like a Cam McKenzie. They've got Blake Hardwick, who's been a solid contributor for ages. Josh Battle, wasn't a household name. Maybe towards the back end of last year with the contract stuff, he got a little bit more airtime, but he's contributing. I don't know. It's just they've done so well. They're batting above their weight class. They're batting above their average. I just really like what they're doing, and their system is second to none in the AFL at the moment. And, man, they looked a little bit shot early. The Giants jumped out to a pretty big lead, but the Hawks just got busy.
You know what? Shout out Ben as well. His first day at job tomorrow, so good luck to you, mate. You've done well. I agree with you, Caden. You know what I find amazing, and Wayne nails it? What has impressed me about Hawks, they played in the wet against Brisbane. They played in perfect conditions versus Carlton. They played in an absolute windstorm here. Their
Mm.
ability to adapt
Yeah, that's good.
almost on a whim is crazy.
Yeah, yeah, that is because it doesn't take much to put certain sides off. Like, you get exposed to different conditions, whether it's a humid conditions up at the Gabba, and it's an excuse. If you lose, you can say, look, we never play up at the Gabba. It's a hard deck. It's humid. It's wet. This is an excuse. But they don't use any excuses. They're a battle-hardened, tough young side. Like, I like what they're made of. And, it's going to be cool to see them tested across the next few weeks, but they seem up for it at the moment. So what an exciting start to the season for them.
And everyone on this channel knows I hate the Orange team. Hate them. Said it last week. It's fraud watch. And
wow.
Fraud watch.
I like it.
Fraud watch, chat. Tell you. You know what, Matt? If you're in chat, you said, I love how Pom makes a rule and breaks it. I'm going to give Carlton the win next week by saying Carlton are never going below 12 for the rest of the year. So you watch. Carlton will win next week. But GWS, man, honestly, everyone get off GWS. Absolute fraud watch. Mickey Mouse Football Club they are. I'll stand by it.
Yeah, well, I feel like they get the tax of that opening round win. Like, everyone's riding off what they did to the Pies early in the season, because they weren't convincing against the Ds. They probably should have lost that, besides the Lockie Keefe snag from bloody 60 out. And then who else have they played? Was it just the Hawks? Did they have a bye?
So GWS, they had the Pie game that they won. Then they had you, and then it was the bye. Won it last week. They had the. Oh wait, no. GWS played the Hawks, and then it's the bye. They played the extra game, didn't they? GWS are that weird team. They got the extra game straight away.
Yep.
So I just think when I look at GWS, I think GWS are that team that you are conditioned to not hate.
Yeah.
It's like I say it about Bontempelli. I'm one of the weird people. I don't think Bontempelli is the best player in the league. I think you are conditioned to believe he's the best player in the league.
Yeah, I get that. There's definitely players and teams and stuff that do get a bit of an easy ride. So I definitely get what you're saying there.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm happy to be wrong, but I'll tell you, when GWS cling on to the 8 at the end of the season, just remember Uncle Pom said GWS are pants.
I will.
Brisbane, Geelong, in potentially one of the greatest comebacks of all time. Geelong looked like they'd outsmarted the Lions. The Lions came out there hard and in the end run this quite easy. Brisbane are doing pretty well at defending this title, aren't they?
Yeah. And I suppose no worries at the moment. They're just ready to go across the park. Like, every one of their players is between like 25 and 28. They look strong. They look prepared for AFL footy. They're bringing in first rounders who are looking like men and adults. So, they're sort of going about their business a little bit quietly at the moment, the Lions. And what a fantastic win. And it's going to be tough to see what you do with the Cats here, because they didn't lose much stock, but they are 1-2. And they're ripe for the picking this week at GMHBA for the men in red and blue.
I hate to be this guy. I was huge on Geelong right at the start of the year because I was like, experience, the intelligence. That was the first rule of this ladder. You're not allowed to move them below the bottom 4. And then it was you're not allowed to move them out of the 8. This is a bizarre one. Like, I look at them and I think they've been unlucky. Bailey Smith last week, Tom Stewart this week. But there's something I don't like about the Cats now the season started, and I can't put my finger on it. I feel like they're almost like you and me, our team. It's almost a brand of football that is archaic.
Yeah, I've seen a couple of things that say that their slingshot when they get it going is pretty good, and their midfield, because Dangerfield's a forward pocket at the moment, so their starting midfield. I suppose Bailey Smith's in there. I was going to say last year the names in it were like not that amazing, but their system is amazing. So like it might be a Jack Bowes and a Jai Clark and maybe a Tanner Bruin during one centre clearance throughout the game with Reece Stanley rucking. And you look at that on paper and you go, man, any side should be able to get the ascendancy here. But the system that Chris Scott and the footy club put in place means that they can counteract whatever you bring. So they're a very good side. They're going to be hard to beat at home. They play at home this week. And yeah, I think they'll be spewing the last couple of weeks. They have given up big margins. So they had a big margin against Brisbane and Brisbane came back, and then they were down against the Saints and they came back. So a couple of 10-point losses that, if you play those games a couple more times, I feel like the Cats get it done. Pretty unlucky to not walk away with 4 points in those two games, I think.
They remind me of reverse Collingwood when they won their flag. Like, that's why Brisbane kind of excite me. They've got a bit of Collingwood about them. They shouldn't be winning that Sydney game. I feel like Sydney, if they had their time again, they'd be like, we should have killed them when we had the chance. This week, Geelong should have killed them, but I feel like they're reverse Geelong. It feels like they can't win a tight one. So, you know what? I'm going to keep Geelong where they are respectfully on the account of they lost to a team that we're going to keep second. I still think Hawthorn are playing sexier football to watch. I'd rather watch a Hawks game than a Brisbane game.
100%.
And then my favourite team other than Carlton at the minute to watch, and Carlton's just by force, Adelaide Crows, the Crom. We were all a year too early. We thought it was last year.
Yeah.
It looks like it's this year. I was very impressed in this because I rate North. I think they're playing good football, but I thought Adelaide, they've got something about them, haven't they?
Yeah, it's exciting. I think Darren Burgess has them rock hard and ready to go from a fitness standpoint. They're all chiseled. You look at a James Peatling and a Dan Curtin and a Ben Keys and Saligo, like they all look like they're ready for the physical demands of the game. Another big home win. They had a great attendance as well, 320 at Adelaide Oval against North Melbourne, and it looked pretty packed out. So the Crows fans are back out in force, which is awesome. Their ability to score is just crazy, and they've always had that. Like even last season when they battled a little bit, they could still push you into like the high 80s and 90s, and they just couldn't defend really. So they got the big three-headed monster up in the forward line. They're a little bit light on from a name-wise in the back line, but they function pretty well. The Worrells and I don't think Butts has been playing, the Michael Ennies and all these. I could not, if they bumped into me in the street, I wouldn't know who they are. But whenever I see them out at Adelaide Oval, they're contributing. So they look really good. I wonder how long they can do it throughout the season, but they are looking very, very good.
They're definitely. I agree with you. When you look at their team, there's a little bit of Hawthorn about this team, isn't there? Like they're probably not the most obvious players that you'd pick randomly. If you were doing a fantasy draft, maybe a couple of them names would be high up on your list, but you'd probably go elsewhere for back pockets, wingers, things like that. But that team's a bit like Hawks, isn't it? It's playing one way. Like, I really want to see in the next couple of weeks, I wish we could change the fixture, Hawks versus Adelaide. Like, that just feels like a game that would be brilliant to watch.
Yeah, it's that modern game. It's that modern game that our clubs aren't playing at the moment. And it is a trend in the competition. And these sides are, I think the top three in your rankings are playing at the best. I think the Lions have the ability to go a bit contest and defense, bash you to death, but also score really quickly with their ability to move the footy. But 1 and 3, the Hawks and the Crows, man, it is unbelievable their ball movement. So I don't know how teams are going to stop it.
It's going to be fascinating. And you know what, North, they really impressed me in this game. The one thing I'm going to give Adelaide huge props for, though, is the last couple of weeks, my tendency with them is they've conceded so many scoring shots. But I feel like this game here, the Adelaide managed to stop that slingshot all of a sudden, which suddenly adds a layer. You know what? I'm going to do something unprecedented.
Oh, my goodness.
I'm moving Adelaide to second.
Wow. That's massive.
And I'm going to keep North where they are. I think North, up until the 4th, I felt they stayed in that. And you know what, Luke? Someone with a brain. I wish the Carlton-Collingwood game, the clash argument, it just seems simple. It's
the shorts.
Just sort your shorts out. But evidently that's complex for the AFL.
I hate that. I hate white shorts. Like I'm off them. Like I like if you have a white kit, you should wear white shorts. And I like Adelaide have like this really cool yellow kit, but then they wear white shorts with it, and it's like you should wear yellow shorts with it. It looks unbelievable when it's all cohesive. So yeah, I'm with Luke there.
Everyone who's upset, I've moved Port and Brisbane. Remember, I am a closet Crom fan. Adelaide are growing on me, And we finish with a game that is still going on, but I think we can safely say that the Fremantle have finally got their first dub. Up until we went live, I was watching this game. Fremantle looked ominously better, but I still think you've got to put it in perspective. This is more of a tale of, I think the Eagles are really bad.
The Eagles are really bad. Really, really bad. I had conversations pre-season. Someone was saying, this is the worst Richmond side we've ever seen. And I said, yeah, the Richmond side is a little bit rough, but they're all sort of top-end talent. Like there's a lot of positions on the ground where it's a first-round draft pick. You look at West Coast and it's just bare. It's just bare across the park. So, and also the Tigers have had 2 seasons with Uze. This is West Coast's first season with McWalter. This could be their worst season yet, potentially. So they were in it to start this game against the Dockers just because the Dockers allowed them to. Like the Dockers, who will get better as the season goes on, and I think the Dockers will be I still think top 4. But the Dockers were just making a lot of mistakes early and sort of leaving the door ajar a little bit, but they've got the job done in a pretty emphatic way, 30 or 40, or it might be 40 or 50 points. So a great performance, and they're off. They're off and running now, the Freo Dockers.
I think what was good as well for Fremantle was 15 goals, 16 as well. Like that was my issue the first 2 rounds with Fremantle. They just looked shy of even getting the ball in the mixer. So it feels like they've cut the shackles a bit, defensively strong. I'm going to be bold here. You know what? I'm going to back Fremantle in.
Yeah. Yeah, good call. Really good call.
You know what? I'm going to put them just above North.
Nice.
And you know what? I can't move Eagles lower. If we had a div too. I agree with you. You know what's weird is in the preseason, there was a little bits of what I liked about the Eagles. I felt like they've got quite a complex forward line. Feels like since the season's kicked off, there is no cohesion.
Yeah, they're bad. Like I thought our fundamentals were bad on Saturday, and then I watched the Eagles today, and it was worse. Like, man, Harley Reid's a bit of a worry as well. I love the kid. I absolutely froth the kid, and he is going to be what we think he is going to be. Like when he, in the next couple of seasons. But at the moment, whether he's carrying something or whatever it is, he's not having the impact. And it's almost frustrating as a viewer because I'm like, and the reason I'm watching this 6:30 derby between Freo and West Coast is to see Harley Reid stiff arm a few and slot a couple of goals and just body a couple of men, even though he's a 19-year-old. But not seeing that at the moment. So that's a little bit concerning. They develop him in the right way and he'll be the player that we all think he will be. And it is what it is. Players go through form slumps. But as a viewer who's tuning into West Coast games, I want to see the Harley Reid show.
Yeah, mate, I'm with you. It's a tough one. It's a tough one because I think Richmond are definitely going to finish above the Eagles.
Yeah, I think so too.
I stand by it. Richmond will win 4 games minimum this year. I think they will sneak wins in the middle part. And double dummy, you know I love you. Brisbane, look, you've got Richmond this week. You'll be back number 1. Hawthorn are off. Remember, it's round by round. Think long game, double dummy. Richmond will be number 1 next week. It's odds on. Unless Adelaide beat the Suns by 100 points, Brisbane will be back on top. And Matt, you know what the rules are like. Go do it. Yeah, you know what the rules are like. They only last one thing. Well, that is the power rankings. Controversial. I know you're a Hawks fan, but Brisbane will be back above you next week. I hate to do it to you. But I do think that is probably a fair reflection when we do it round by round. GWS, honestly, fraud watch. They're going to be out of the 8 next week. I'm going to do everything I can to will in the Eagles to beat them.
Oh, wow. That's a tall ask. That is a tall ask.
So I can throw the Giants to 9th. But no, they'll probably be back in the top 4. But I do enjoy that one. Thank you very much for helping with that, Caden. That is the best one. But now we come on to fun and games. We end the show with our silly little things. So, Caden, this here, your subject chosen pre this was Ruckman, right? So I am going to name you Ruckman, but we play it a bit like charades. So, for an example, if we did Dean Cox, let's say Dean Cox used to play, still plays now, I would say his surname sits in between a man's legs. His first name is what a principal at a religious school is called. That's clever, chat, as well. So it's a bit like charades.
Yep.
Right? We'll do that. I will randomize the.
And you're giving me the clues?
Yeah, I give you the clues.
Good.
I show the chat. I'm good at this, right? Just so you know, it's been the guests that have been rubbish at this.
Yeah.
It's the guests that have been rubbish at this.
I'm backing in your communication skills.
Mate, they're pretty good. But I'll show everyone in the chat and Caden. You can see there, Lekdog got 4, Marnie got 2, right? I mean 3. And Marnie, to be fair, did waste 45 seconds on Harry Sheasel.
Wow. And that's one she should have gotten.
Mate, and the clue was brilliant. I was like, it's a cheese-flavoured chip snack.
Yep.
Rhymes with it. And
did you know it was midfielders or was it North Melbourne players?
No, she knew it was midfielders. And the only way that I could get her to get it is I was like, he's Jewish. And then she got it straight away.
Yeah.
Absolutely killed me. So I will bring up on screen now, you should see the 1-minute timer. Right?
I can see it.
So are you ready?
Ruckman. All right. Yep. I'm prepared.
Right. So, yeah, Lekdog did waste. Absolutely.
Can I say skip?
Yeah, you can say skip.
Ah, cool.
All right. So ready?
Yep. Come on.
Here we go. His surname sounds like what you would call someone who's scared. His first name is a former Essendon great. He's great forward. He's also
Lloyd
Carlton's. Yeah, well done. The second one, he's your idol. Best player you've got.
Gorney.
Yeah. Third one, his first name is the same name of the guy that played Mr. Bean. And his surname is what you'd put after fire, who looks after a fire in America.
Skip.
Surname of this player is what lollies are. They're very
addictive. Jordan Sweet.
Yeah. Next one. Surname, where I'm from. How you describe me, what my nationality is.
In English.
Yeah. Oh, well done.
Oh.
Well done.
Mr.
Well
Bean is
done.
Rowan Atkinson, so that's Rowan Marshall.
Yeah.
And then put fire out. What was that clue?
Fire Marshal.
Oh,
Okay,
right,
so you
right,
got
right.
it. Rowan
Yeah,
Marshall.
Yep.
You were good. Hey, you were
Ah,
good. You were good.
it's hard. It's hard. Once I got the first one, though, I felt like I was away.
Mate, you were very good. Dog, who is a good mate of mine, and we spend a lot of time together, he fucked about on one of these. I can't remember who it was, but he actually said the guy's name, but couldn't put it together.
Oh, that's hilarious.
And I spent 10 seconds of me saying, "Are you stupid?" Which didn't help, I don't think.
Nah, that was good. I like the clues. When you see the big minute just tick down right in front of you, it puts the pressure on.
But mate, it's tough. We used to do that a 2-minute one. If you remember, that was it. Josh Battle. Well done, Double Dummy. That was the one that he kept messing up. Battle.
Oh, right. That's funny as.
Oh, God. Some of the people. Well, now we get on to the exciting one. So last week, Mr. Letdog picked a team. He picked a team for us on. You can see here, knowing Letdog, his entire job is writing Supercoach articles. He took the lead, as we expected. We said that we put pressure on him. If he wasn't ahead of the leaderboard, he needed to retire. He has managed to go ahead, but now Mr. McDonald, he's not ready for this. Like Dog, he's going to be facing Caden McDonald's dream team, his dream team. So we'll have a look at what you have selected. So give us your defenders. That should go on screen now. We can go through your team. So there it is.
Is there any budget?
No, mate, unlimited.
All right. Okay. All right. I've gone with Jack Sinclair and Dane Zorko.
Ooh, you know what? They're good picks.
Done a little bit of research here. I'm not the greatest super coacher, so I've had to go to work.
Mate, look, I'm not very good at Supercoach either, but they're good picks.
Do you want the mids?
Yeah, go for your mids.
Libba and Matt Rao.
Yeah, done.
You can't have two from one club?
You can have up to two. So
yeah. I've gone with Jack McRae and Isaac Rankin.
Excellent.
And then one of my favourite rucks in the comp is TDK.
He's riding the Carlton train.
Yeah.
He's riding the Carlton train. And then I asked you to pick a reserve of each position in case someone dies.
I haven't thought that far ahead. I'm going to go reserve defender. Tom Stewart.
He should be back, they reckon. They reckon he's back next week, so it could be a bold call. He's coming out to fire. Backup midfielder.
I'll go Finn Callahan.
Mate, he was a Brownlow lock only a week ago.
Forward. Backup forward. Dylan Moore.
Yeah, mate. Good pick. They're dangerous. And backup rock.
I'll go. His hammy's a little bit questionable. I'll go the Big X.
Mate, did anyone see Zeri today? Absolute monster, Riley O'Brien.
On one hamstring as well.
Yeah. Does anyone else enjoy Riley O'Brien running off? That's a good point, Matt. Hawks do have the bye next week, so we'll give you another forward.
Another forward next week. Cozzy Pickett's back, so I'm going to go with Cozzy. And he'll be cheap, even though
That's a
budget's
solid
not an
team.
issue.
That's a solid team. That is a solid team. And then we go tipping versus the Pom. This week, you all made me lose chat last week because you made me pick Carlton. So if we go into our original chat, I've got 9 out of 9 in our actual tipping comp for this channel.
Yeah.
Made me have a separator. I had to back the Blues, and I lost to Let Dog by 1 last week. So, Caden, I will let you have first refusal. Pies versus the Blues. Who are you tipping next week?
I'm going to go the Blues. They're going to bounce back at the MCG.
I can't believe.
They're not going to start 0-4. Impossible. Come on, the Baggers.
You know what? I'm going to do what I wanted to do last week. I'm going to tip the Pies.
That's
I'm going to tip the Pies.
Get the tip, but if your team wins, you're happy.
Well, you see, if people have noticed, I've been tipping against Carlton because I have a belief that when I tip them, they lose. Mm-hmm. So this could be proof. This might help content creators on this channel knowing that now. Now, the Cats versus your mob. Who are you tipping?
Well, I just said your mob can't go 0-4, but I think mine might. I'm going to have to go the Cats.
You know what? I'm going to join you on that one. I would love this.
By Saturday morning, we could wake up and both be 0-4.
You know what? As well, I have really been careful of who I choose next week as well, just in the mindset of do I want to do this with someone that potentially had a great week?
Yeah, you need someone who's like 2-2.
I might have to get Jesse out of retirement from True Footy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The Suns versus the Crows. This is probably the most exciting game other than the Carlton Pies game.
Don't tell me that that's the 120 on a Saturday.
I believe.
That's a graveyard slot. That's when everyone's out playing sport, out at the pub.
Yeah, but this is what the AFL do, don't they? They don't, like, floating fixture, but then they happen to...
But then the Roos and Swans are later on. That is bad. Anyway, I'm going to go the Suns at home. I think they're going to be a very good side at home.
You know what? I'm going to go mental. I'm going to stick with the Crows.
I like it.
I'm backing in my new second team.
Yeah.
Tigers versus the Lions.
Where we? The Lions by as much as they like.
This honestly, you know, I have all the respect for Richmond. I was huge when they beat us. I've been really impressed. That game does genuinely worry me. For the Tigers. Like, that feels like that could be the GWS versus Carlton 2018 game. Yeah,
no, I'm with you. Big, expansive ground. The Lions played the G pretty well recently, so that could be a 110er, a 110 sort of style.
Like I hope it's not, because I don't want to see them get bad, but it just feels, doesn't it? That could be one of them games that really tests a group.
Yeah.
And then we got the Roos versus the Swans, which I think is a super intriguing game.
Yeah, I think you can look at recent history, and it can sometimes sum up how a game's going to go. And I think over the last couple of years, the Roos have been very competitive with the Swans. I remember there was a game where there was an interchange infringement, and the Roos were up for most of the game, and then the Swans got up. I reckon the Roos upset them at the SCG a couple of years ago, or almost upset them. So this is going to be a super intriguing contest. All that being said, though, I'm going the Swans. You know what, chat? I said this when we did this with Marnie. She was convinced they were going to batter, they were going to win against the Demons, and we all laughed at her. And it's stuck in my head. It has literally lived rent-free in my head. I'm going to go the Swans with you, though. But part of me feels like I would not be shocked to see
the Roos win that game.
Yeah. That'd be a great
GWS
upset.
Eagles.
Giants by heaps. By so many.
This feels like another Eagles versus Lions game, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. Yeah. They've had a tough fixture to start. The Eagles. Brisbane Suns, who are in form, Freo, who are top 4 fancy, into the Giants. That's a pretty rough start for Andrew McGualter.
It's not the games you want, is it? And especially I did give them a slight chance this week against Freo. I thought, Derby, home ground, even though it's an away game, it felt like this was their chance if they were going to sneak one. This was the chance. Yeah. This is a really intriguing game, this, because I think this is the last team you want to play when you're out of form. St Kilda travel to Adelaide, Port Saints.
I reckon the Saints are a better side.
Yeah.
I'm going to tip the Saints.
I'm with you. It's Ross the boss, isn't it, as well?
Yeah. Structurally always really good, but now they're getting some slingshot footy through Nazai Wanganeen and Sinclair. So they're getting a bit of ball movement now, the Saints.
Do you know what I mean? Matt with the bold call, fraud watch on the GWS. Eagles win. Mate, don't follow me into battle, Matt. It's a dangerous thing. I stand by it, fraud watch, but Werribee should be able to beat the Eagles at the minute. You know what I mean? And they wouldn't win the flag. The final game is a real intriguing one. Dogs travel to Perth to finish the weekend against Fremantle.
Yeah, I reckon the Dockers are away now. I reckon they're going to be a really good footy side in 2025, and they've got the monkey off the back. They've beaten their cross-town rivals, and I think anyone going over to Optus Stadium this season is going to have it pretty tough. The Dogs have been great to start the season so far, but I just think across the park, if the cohesion's there, the Dockers will be better.
It's a tough one, this, isn't it? Because unless that fourth quarter, the Dockers turned into prime Pavlich Fremantle, I still don't trust them. You know what? Maybe it's just I want to feel better about my life. I'm going with the Dogs.
Yeah.
I'm going with the Dogs just so I can be like, it's all right, I lost to a top 8 side. Don't matter. Don't care anymore.
If Bevo pulls this one out of the hat, that would be incredible.
Well, I mean, we've actually got a few different there, chat. We've got the Blues Pies game. We've got we've got another one, that Suns game. And we've got the Dockers game. So there's a lot riding on this one. It's not like last week where I said we can't have the same and you all coerced me into backing the Blues in. Can I just say that's why I was angry? People were like, why is Pom angry when I lost? I was probably more angry at losing the tipping than I was the actual game. I was like, this is so annoying. And chat, we've got something you'll like this, Caden. So last week, we run a tipping comp. So Mrs. Pom has put up big prizes for this. There's cash prizes, and they didn't have to do anything other than just watch the channel. But we've had some absolute ridiculous scores this week. And there's a few who are joining the Full House Club this week before we finish up. And one of them people is PommyInOz, tipping all 8, if you don't mind. Wow. I can't win it, though, unfortunately. I'm ineligible. But Gravy Train and Big Churchy, Nathan Church, is up there. Wooden Spoon Data propping them up. And if we look at the full scores for the whole season, we have got some top names here. Methodical Flame leading, Claire second. We've got Tiger Time, who's in chat at the minute. He's third, losing by 1. Then we've got a host of legends. We've got Gravy Train, Teresa, who nearly would have been the only player in the group to tip Geelong, believe it or not. Had they won, she was the only one out of all 80-odd who tipped Geelong versus Brisbane. She could have gone outright leader. Andrew Scott, Churchy, banger. Mrs. Pom just rounds up the top 10. And this is important. This is the only battle we care about. Pom versus Mrs. Pom. Level on points. And because I tipped Carlton by 100, my net score is negative 131.
Yeah.
I hate my
the
life,
percentage.
Aiden.
You're out on percentage.
Oh, mate, I went bold. Like, I typed in 101 Carlton round one. And I look like a right... Like, honestly, I've put myself behind the 8 ball straight away. I'm never making that up.
I thought a lot of people would have done the same. So I can't believe that you're out by so much margin-wise.
You know what? As we were losing, all I could think of as well was the net. Because I actually do one of these with a few of my mates, which is a couple of hundred buy-in. And at the moment, I am level first, but my net percentage is killing me.
It's critical. It's critical getting the margins right.
You know what I mean? And stupid let dog, well done. Yeah, you beat me everywhere. You can thank chat for convincing me to go with Blues. You know what I mean? Would have been even... Well, Caden, thank you very much for joining me. Now, tell the wonderful members of chat, what have you got planned? Because you have got loads of exciting stuff planned, haven't you, on your channel? You do all sorts of cool stuff over there.
Yeah, just chipping away at a few things at the moment. Myself and the Marmalade boys, we're playing footy again this season. So we played in the lowest div of the VAFA last season and missed out on finals by percentage. So we've come back, definitely not fitter and stronger, but we've come back with some more enthusiasm to play again this season. So I'll be bringing out those game day vlogs from potentially next week onwards. And then I'm chipping away at a song at the moment. So I do some parody songs, some footy parody songs. And I've got one on the state of AFL injuries. Like, I'm a bit upset that we're losing some of our star players. So I've put it into musical form. So I'm going to film that in the next week or so and hopefully bring that out on my YouTube channel shortly.
Mate, well, his link is in the description there. Make sure you go and give Caden a bit of love. I'm sure you all know who he, if you don't know who he is, familiar yourself with that. You've got a... You play footy, actually, with one of my acquaintances, mates, I'll call him. He is a mate. And Marshy?
Yes, I love Marshy. Yep.
Yeah, big frizzy hair. He's one of the FIFA lads who I play a bit of FIFA with.
Oh, nice. Yeah, he's one of the great utilities, Marshy. Comes down. We have a competition, and whoever wins the goal kicking on a Tuesday night gets to play full forward for that week. And he was out of the side. He came halfway through the season to play with us, and he was out of the starting 22. And he just started binning the goal kicking competition for multiple weeks in a row and forced himself into selection. So it was quite incredible. But he's one of the great men. Good bloke to have around the club.
Good banter. You know what? I have often joked about it. I want to give AFL a crack, man.
You've got to come down. You have to come down. There's a position there for you if you want it.
Do you know what I mean? I mean, come on. I think that would be brilliant, wouldn't it?
That would be unbelievable content.
Mate, I'm telling you. I'd be like Lockett, bro.
Yeah.
12 goals, debut, mate.
I can see it. I'll play second fiddle. I'll be the decoy. You just sit deep and put a couple through the big sticks.
Mate, I'm keen. I'm serious. Chat, if you're keen for it, I would be. I mean, look, I'm in a little bit of fitness at the minute. Dropped 22 kegs.
Nice. You know it's just the leg swings. It's not about the aerobic capacity. It's just the kicking. The kicking mechanism is something that you just don't do in day-to-day life ever. And when I got back into footy, I couldn't believe my hammies would lock up. And I'm like, why are they locking up? Like, I sort of walk and run around every now and again. And then I realized like that kicking mechanism is just detrimental to your core and your back and your hammies. So I would recommend the leg swings for the next month. But we'll get you in.
I've got to say, Caden, I used to play inside centre all my secondary school until I was about 20. And I can tell you as a centre, you kick an up and under all the time in union. So I know what it's like. It is a horrible feeling. I remember doing pre-season training and like literally you forget for 6 months you don't kick a rugby ball.
Yeah.
And you do your first couple of training sessions, and it literally feels like you're made out of rock all down your right kicking leg.
Yeah, because I got so used to it. I hadn't played footy for 10 years, and I played last year, and then we finished the season in August or whatnot, and we came back around November, December to do some trainings before Christmas, and my hamstrings and back just locked up. And I couldn't believe it. I was sort of thinking, man, 3 months ago I was doing these actions. What's going on? And yet just twigged that you don't do that mechanism with your leg ever unless you're running around for a footy side. So once you stop doing that, you got to put a lot of work in to get that back. So you don't need the aerobic capacity. You don't need the fitness. You just need the leg swings for a couple of weeks just to loosen them up.
Oh, but mate, I want to replicate a bit of Charlie. Get up the wing, be involved in transition, mate. Yeah, we got a question from Double Dummy, good mate of this channel. Been trying to find a song that we can use for Pom. Best I can find is a match is Come On Eileen, brilliant. The syllable matching with PommyInOz.
PommyInOz.
There's too much though. If you were singing Come On Eileen, Come On Eileen, how are you going to do Come On PommyInOz? Because
the only song that's jumped out, and it's not in anyone's wheelhouse, but Justin Bieber's got a song called Yummy, and it's I got that yummy. So straight away I thought, now we got that pommy. So maybe there's something in that, but it's very R&B. It's almost sensual. So not sure we want to go there with the channel.
I tell you what, that was brilliant though. That Caden's got that straight away.
I was trying to think, Pommy. Yeah, I can't really think of any that rhyme with Pommy, but Yummy's up there.
You know what I mean? Oh, look at this. Look at that. You know what? Songwriting class. And it's nice that we've got a cheer squad as well when we do this. I'm looking forward to seeing Marnie and Wooden Spoon Data. You know what I mean? Having a bit of a... Oh, look at this. Mamma Mia. Pommy Mia.
Pommy Mia. Here I come again. Yeah, I like it.
It suits me as well because I'm old. Well, you know, Caden, mate, as always, it's a pleasure collaborating with you. We don't do it enough as well. We should do it more.
Nah, it's been awesome. We go a long way back, Pommy. We've been doing this for a while. You're one of the most consistent people on the platform, and it's awesome to see you kicking goals. So I really appreciate it.
Mate, thank you very much. Yeah, we've known each other for a while. We probably don't do enough. But, I mean, for the rest of the week, what have I got on? We've got, you know what? I've decided the team I'm picking on in Pomnado this week, I'm going in on Port, chat. I can't do Carlton again. Honestly, if I have to talk about Carlton before Thursday, it's not good for my mental sanctity. The recap show is out tomorrow in the humorous way we always do. Yeah, and loads of watch-alongs next week, loads of lives, so stay tuned. Make sure you go and check Caden's channel out. I'll speak with Caden. I will come out of retirement and make my football debut. So you watch.
Unbelievable.
Do you know what I mean? We'll do some kind of like charity thing as well. Every goal I'll kick, I'll knock something out for charity. But Caden, mate, pleasure. Chat. Love you all. Have a great rest of your weekend. We'll see you next week. Thank you very much, and bye.